All right, I am now recording.
Good morning, Anna.
I didn't see Anna. Let me fix this.
I'm only able to see like who's joining at the top. I'm not able to, now that I see the big screen, I'm not able to see the gallery view. But I don't foresee that being an issue because we're.
Yeah, I can stop
focusing.
sharing when it's time for discussion.
Yeah. But this is great. The PowerPoint she did is incredible.
Yeah. Let's see who we are waiting for. Bettina is on. Corinne should be joining. I saw Jaslyn before, I thought.
Yep, I see her box.
I don't know why I can't see her. It's probably this weird gallery view thing you were mentioning.
You're the only person I see in addition to the shared screen.
That's weird. Yeah, so I see Jaslyn. Soul, is Soul on yet? No Soul. No Soul, no Diana, no Miriam. See Valerie, no, who? I don't think I see Adolfo. Okay.
I think I just flipped the screen. Can you see my face? Hi, Lauren.
Hi, guys.
I don't see you, Amy. I see your counters.
Now, do you see me?
Now I do, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Palmer. All right.
Is that Winnie?
No, that's Winnie's friend. That's Lauren's doodle, Palmer.
Oh, that's like I've never heard her bark.
No, not like that.
All right, so we are waiting on 2 students. We'll give them 1 more minute. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. Chris, I had the bylaws signed. I'll see you when I'm in the office on Monday. All right. So, Lauren, are you just going to tell me when to hit the slides?
Yeah, that's perfect.
I'm still learning. There we go.
All good.
So if I'm not doing it right, tell me.
Okay.
This whole screen sharing thing is very new to me, and I'm excited to learn.
So do we have everybody on that has RSVP'd?
We're missing 2 students, so we'll give them just, oh, I see somebody else. I don't even,
Okay.
yeah, if I don't see pictures, I'm having, just because I'm screen sharing, having a little trouble figuring out who's on. I just see a J. I have no idea who it is.
Leave it.
Let's see if I hit chat. That's, so I see Jaslyn's picture and a J for Jaslyn.
So on this side, under participants, I have Valerie, Anna, Ben, Bettina, Crystal, Jaslyn, Soul, and John was just on here, and I don't see him now.
Okay.
But that's who I'm seeing.
Okay. We'll give them 1 more minute, and then we'll get started.
Okay.
Give them to 10:05. All right.
I have my coffee in a mug that Andrea gave me, actually.
We haven't seen her in a little bit.
Aww.
Must be busy.
Yeah. It's actually iced coffee, but it looks much cuter in this, so.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I actually had a meeting this morning, so I have my Starbucks.
Oh, so jealous. I did
Right.
my Peloton ride. I'm like ready to go.
Oh, you're so good.
Yeah, you are.
I'm like so
Give me
ready.
some of that energy.
Right? Oh my gosh, I'm jealous. You look way different than me in my workout gear. I call it my athleisure wear.
By the way, Lululemon has the cutest little athleisure, like velvet.
I'm obsessed
Hair.
with them. And I'm like, but
It's
so can
so
I justify spending over $200 to sit on my bottom?
I mean, it's 2020. Like, do it.
That's kind of how I feel. I'm like, well, if I'm sitting home all day long, I might as well be comfy and stylish. I saw them. I'm obsessed, actually. I'm glad it wasn't just me.
100%.
Bye.
Sorry, I'm homeschooling next to me as well.
I
think we can get started.
Is she going to learn about personal branding today?
She should come on and join us for personal branding, but she's learning about stone soup instead.
I love it.
All right.
Oh.
Let's get started whenever. Just let me know when you want me to hit the slides.
All right. Good morning, everybody. I am
Morning.
Lauren. I am so excited to be here. Amy knows she got a barrage of text messages last night when I was working on this, and I'm so excited to be talking about this subject, especially to such wonderful up-and-comers. Hopefully this resonates with you. Hopefully you guys feel the energy and the goodness that I'm gonna wrap on you right now. And stop me with any questions. This should be very casual, but want to take you on a journey of what personal branding is. I know that topic is so big right now. I see it all over LinkedIn. In fact, I actually got in a very educated kind of battle about, is personal branding really that important? And my answer is yes, it is everything. It is everything because it is you, it is what you have aspired for, it is what you have built, it is what you have educated yourself for, and your personal brand is something that you will always take with you. It's not something that a company can take away from you. It's not something that anyone can topic. So personal branding is huge. We're going to talk through today what that means exactly, and we're going to go a little bit of a level deeper and find almost your why you do what you do and how you do that. And I'm going to give you a tool set to actually building your personal brand. So that will be your homework, spoiler alert, in building that and filling out that whole entire blueprint to your personal brand. So go ahead and hit the next slide. Okay. So as I said, I am Lauren Westerfield. I have been in the hospitality industry for a little under 2 decades. Yes, I'm old. And I just recently founded my own company called the Noble Fempire. After working for America, I took a leap of faith and decided to trust in myself and build my own empire, my own fempire, and started the Noble Fempire, which is a brand about inspiration, about leadership. I have a blog which kind of entertains both the spiritual side of me and the boss babe side of me, and talks about just leadership and authentic selves and how to give your gift to the world. So, and I also consult for some hospitality companies, some gaming companies, and doing mostly digital transformation and brand work. So on paper, who am I? I was born and raised in Las Vegas, Nevada, and 5th generation, which is super rare. So I love Las Vegas. I love everything about it. I love what it's gifted me. And I also went and lived in LA for 4 years. I'm a Trojan, a very proud Trojan, and studied in communications and business, and then came back to Vegas and started in public relations. And it was more so for like doctors, lawyers, a little bit more of the mundane stuff. And we signed a client, which was Hooters Casino Hotel. And I got to do the grand opening for them. And I was bit by the hospitality bug. I loved just the speed of which everybody worked. I loved being able to touch food and beverage, hotel, gaming, and learning the business that was so intricate and so just dynamic that I was gifted the opportunity to be able to learn so much about business under one entity that I wanted to switch to gaming. So at 24 years old, went to station casinos as a coordinator and learned the ropes and worked countless hours, but I loved everything that I did. And I rose very quickly, which was something that the hospitality world was great for, was recognizing talent and allowing them to kind of fly. So within 6 months, I was promoted. And then within another 6 months, I was a director and got to run my own property marketing, which was super fun, and got to work on the opening of Red Rock, of Aliante. And then I switched gears and I went to the manufacturer side, where I worked with IGT and got to learn a little bit more about worldwide gaming and how the nuances kind of affect the gaming world. And then was called back to actually run properties as a vice president of marketing and entertainment. I worked at Aliante, Golden Nugget, the corporate side of station casinos for digital marketing and brand marketing. And most recently, I got to oversee the renovation and the reopening of Palms Casino Hotel, which was by far one of my most rewarding, maddening projects I've ever worked on. It was super cool. But at that point in time in my life, I hit this wall of, I was constantly just running and what's next and what is my next goal and how can I smash that and achieve that I didn't have time for myself. Sorry, my dog is feeling the passion right now. So I had to take a critical look at myself and say, this is not fulfilling. I need to take a beat. I need to take a pause, and I need to decide what I want to do. So that story will be next, but I want to interrupt. Let's go to the next slide. I want to pose a question to you guys. What is your superpower? And we'll talk about this a lot more in depth, but I want you to answer these 4 questions. So get out a pen and paper or put it on your notes, whatever you want to do. I want you to take time and answer these 4 questions. And you can do it in 1 word, 1 sentence. It doesn't have to be in depth, but think about this. What does the world see about you? So let's get a little bit more in depth. If somebody was from the outside looking in, how would they perceive you? What would they see about you? What is your footprint on the world? How do others tell you you are perceived? So again, what do your friends say about you? Oh, Stan is so fantastic. He's funny. He's dynamic. He's powerful. What do you hide from the world? What do you know that's deep inside your personality that you're hiding? Stop it. Sorry. And then what deep down, what is your inner fire, your inner calling? What deep down do you know you are? Are you a leader? Are you a healer? Are you a motivator? What deep, what's that inner calling that really you need to trust? So take a minute and answer those questions. Amy, are you writing?
Don't have a pen and paper, so I'm taking notes on my actual little digital thing, my notepad.
And sorry about the dog thing. Palmer loves this. So here, I'll give you like a backyard tour. So this is our courtyard, and he sees like the neighbors all the time, and he sits on his little bed and he protects me, but it's a little maddening when you're on calls, like trying to be super professional, and then all of a sudden your crazy 80-pound golden doodle just goes off. So I apologize.
No, we're all used to it now, I think. I mean,
Yeah.
my kids joined my board meeting nude the other day. So
Oh, I like it.
the baby, not the big ones, obviously. So I'm like,
I mean, I talk about authenticity. Here it is, guys, warts and all. You get me.
So we all understand.
How's everyone doing out there? Can we move on, or are you still answering the questions?
Lauren, can you repeat the questions again? So what does the world see about me? What is your inner fire?
How do others tell you you are perceived? What do you hide from the world? And what deep down do you know you are? So, spoiler alert, once we go through kind of the blueprint, a lot of this will be revealed to you too, and maybe some things that you didn't even know about yourself will become revealed. But it'll be really interesting to compare that to what you at first instinct answered about your own self. Let's switch to the next slide, and then you guys can keep answering and I'll just keep talking. So a personal brand for me, like I talked about before, it's such a big topic now of how do I brand myself, and how can I present foot forward? Well, that's great, how you look on social media or how you talk about yourself or what your resume says, but there's so much deeper. There's so much more to who you are as a professional and as a person that comes to play with your personal brand. You don't just have to be Lauren Westerfield, a vice president of marketing or a chief marketing officer. There's so much more to me. So it's raw, it's authentic, it's vulnerable, it's multifaceted, and it's explored. And this is what we're doing today. We're exploring ourselves and exactly what and how we present to the world. It's a self that really makes you, you. If you understand it, if you embrace it, and if you use the pieces to make you the best you possible, that is your you, and you are your brand. So after I understood mine and who I was, after I took the minute to take a year off and say, what the hell am I doing? And who do I want to be? And what do I want to leave on the world? It became my superpower. It became the Noble Empire. So that is your personal brand. And that's what I want you to explore today. Next slide, please. Okay. So the definition of a brand. This is what we talked about. These are the questions I asked you before, and this dives a little bit more of what you see. So what a person sees about you, it's face value. It's how others perceive you in an instant. It's a first impression. So for me, it's, oh, she's so put together. She's well-dressed, well-spoken, well-educated. She is very stoic. She's not warm and engaging. That's how people see me at face value. But there's so much more than that. What you're told, how others see you, how your friends see you, how your parents see you, how coworkers see you, how they talk about you when you're away. Like, oh, for instance, wow, Lauren is very assertive in the boardroom. She is well educated and well studied in what she's talking about, and she's passionate, she is deep, she is no bullshit, she's going to get her way. And sometimes it can be bad, sometimes it can be she's aggressive, or it's how others perceive you because this is what you're presenting, or this is how you're presenting one side of yourself. What you are. This is the deep knowing. This is the passion work. This is the explored side. This is the why of your life. Why you show up every day. Is it because you really care about educating people? Is it because you really care about making yourself better? Is it because you came from nothing and you want to be something? What is that drive? Like, what is that inner fire? And only you know that. So what do you hide? We all have a shadow self, and that's okay. Shadow self is not necessarily bad. It just means that you may be hiding that or tempering that characteristic simply because it's not welcome in a current environment or current state. Like, I'm very emotional, and I try my hardest to hide that from people because I don't want it to seem vulnerable. And quite frankly, sometimes the world could use a little more emotion. The boardroom could use a little bit more emotion. So really, don't, on paper, don't hide this. It's okay. It is okay. Reveal that, because you never know when that can come to play for you and your personal brand, and how it actually may help you become more authentic. So this is a personal brand. It's not what you show on social media. It's not what you show up to every day at work. It is what makes you tick. It is what is your inner fire. It is your best parts of you, and it's your worst parts of you. And it all balances together to make you you. And that's your brand. So let's figure out how to use it to your benefit and to advance in this world. Next slide, please. Do we have any questions on this so far?
No questions, Lauren, but I think it's so important that you just touched on it's okay to be perceived as maybe aggressive or a go-getter. One of my words was ambitious, tenacious, and sometimes that's a lot. And especially as a female trying to kind of get our feet wet, right? You guys are all starting your education and career and figuring out what your path is. But to Lauren's point, you don't ever want to forget you have a soft side and you have a heart. It's okay to have both. And sometimes we can adapt in a certain situation, whether it's a big board meeting or a conversation or having one-on-one. It's good to be able to adapt to relate to the person you're speaking with, but always be true to yourself. And it's okay to be strong and firm and speak up for yourself, but also have empathy. And to Lauren's point, I think there's a lot of empathy kind of missing these days. So I just wanted to second that comment, that it's okay. It's okay to show a little bit of everything. That's all.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
I see Ben over there writing furiously. I like the engagement. Keep it up. Hopefully this is useful. So, all right, we took a pause earlier on my life journey when I said I needed a minute. I needed a year. So I'll pick that back up, because this talks about like really figuring out who Lauren was and really figuring out, warts and all, like I said, like, okay, how do I use this to empower me to actually find my next move and to figure out where I want to be in this life? So I wrote a blog article, which you guys will see later, how to find that, on my, it was my 38th birthday in July. And I talked about becoming. And for me, that was like a big thing of, how the hell did I survive 38 years with not really exploring 100% of me? I was just always after the next carrot, always chasing the next success, instead of saying, wait a second, I have me. I'm pretty cool. I'm pretty smart. I can do this. But in order to do this, I need to really own every piece of myself. So I left. I had no plan, zero plan. I knew that I was not serving my team any good, the company any good, because I was burnt out. I had gone 24/7 for the last 2 years, building the Palms, re-emerging it to the world. And it was done. And kind of at that point, I was like, oh shit, there's nothing else to aspire to. I need a minute. I need to reconnect with myself. I need to reconnect with my family, with my friends, and figure out what my next step is and what's a logical next step. So I had a really adult conversation with our CEO, and it was the most amicable departure that ever happened. I mean, they wanted to see me happy. They wanted to see me succeed and understood where I came from. And so I left with zero plan. And for the first 6 months, I said, okay, I'm going to travel. I'm going to do what makes me happy. I'm not going to think about the next step. And then COVID hit. So that was really a bummer on probably all of our plans. And I had this inner inspiration. I always knew that something that was dynamic and great about me was I love to build teams and I love to motivate people. I was a natural born cheerleader. So I also loved to write, which was a hobby that I had kind of put on mute for a long, long time. And I had this idea. I just want to start a blog. I want to get it out. So I did that. And I had people, wonderful people surrounding me, like Andrea, and some other humans that believed in this project and helped me bring it to life. And that's how the Noble Fempire started. And I'm a very, like I talked about before, I'm a very spiritual person who's into, karma and karmatic energy, and what you put out there is what you get back, and faith. So I merged all of these interlongings and aspirations, and I started this blog. This blog led to a ton of different opportunities. People saying, holy shit, your story is really cool. Like, I want you come on and be a spokesperson for this and do this. And I want you to be a part of our brand. How can you help me further my social media? Or how can you help our company emerge into this next like empathetic leadership stance? So opportunities started coming in the middle of COVID, and it blossomed. So when I tapped into my inner knowing and my what makes me me and combined my passions, it's when I caught fire. And you look at my life a year ago, because it's pretty much a year ago since I quit my corporate job. And now I'm doing what I truly love. It is, and I'm connecting with people who I probably would not have had access to before, because I'm living my honest life and living my truth. So that is what personal brand can give you, is when you tap into that and when you know what you're doing and really do it with passion, abundance happens. So that's my story. It's scary. It's terrifying, actually, especially for such an alpha type person like I am. And I always had a plan. And now that I don't, that I kind of set that to fire and trusted, it has been beautiful. Yes, it's a bumpy ride. Like, I don't recommend it for people who are not sure of themselves, but understanding who you are as a person and what you stand for will take you eons further than you could ever imagine. So, okay, next slide. We're going to get you guys there. So let's build it. So one of my favorite authors and books, which I actually have references at the end of this deck for some of my like best business and spiritual books, if you guys want to get into it, is an author who wrote the 48 Laws of Power. And he uses historical benchmarks and evidence on what has happened in the past to bring out how humans interact in the business world and in their personal world. It's a really great study on human nature and how we exist in the workplace as well as within culture. So he describes this thing called the law of aimlessness. And this is a direct quote because this is where I got the inspiration for actually mapping out the personal blueprint to be the CEO of your life. So I'll read it, absorb it. It's very powerful. Unlike animals with their instincts to guide them, we humans have to rely upon our conscious decisions. We do the best we can when it comes to our career path and handling the inevitable setbacks in life. But in the back of our minds, we can sense an overall lack of direction as we are pulled away by our moods and opinions of others. Such drifting can lead to dead ends. The way to avoid such fate is to develop a sense of purpose, discovering our calling in life and using knowledge to guide our decisions. We come to know ourselves more deeply. We trust ourselves. Even in our moments of doubt, even our failures have a purpose to toughen us up. With such energy and direction, our actions have unstoppable force. So to me, what this means is if we are just putting random shit out there, nothing is ever going to come to fruition. But if you have a plan that is backed and based off of faith, passion, and knowing, you'll be unstoppable. So that is how I arrived at, hey, I want to do this blueprint. I want to map out something for my future based off of what I have, that is based off of my passion, my faith, and those answers, quite frankly, that you guys answered before. So next slide, please. We're going to create our own personal blueprint. So you will be your own CEO of your passion print. I'm a big believer in, I love vision boards. I think it's just a really fun, creative outlet to get out exactly kind of that vision that you want to go for. I'll actually show you. This is my vision board. Can you see? Okay. I do one every year. And I just cut it out for 2020. And it's so funny. I didn't really have an idea of what life was going to be in 2020 when I did this. And a lot of this is like female relationships and female empowerment. And there's power statements in here, like woman on a mission, say anything. She's telling there's no rules, or at least not to play by them. So I like to do something like that, but this is a little bit more decided and kind of helps you put into words where you want to go. So I will send a PDF to Melissa and to Amy and crew, and they'll send it out to you as follow-up for homework. But I have created a blueprint to help you get there. So the next 2 slides, I'll talk through it. You guys should take notes on this section because you're going to be doing it. And I'll talk through what each section means and how it kind of interplays. Next slide, please. Okay, on the left-hand side is my personal blueprint. It's your statement. I am a. This should be on the left, the very last thing that you answer. Because through the other exercises, hi Winnie. Through the other exercises, it will be revealed to you. So character, up on the first right-hand side, what is visible about your character? So list 3 characteristics about that. It could be, I am reliable, I am passionate, whatever characteristics you think are your top 3 winningest, most characteristics, or the top 3 things that come to mind immediately. And you can also take this from those answers that you did earlier. Then the next is what I suppress. So again, that answer that you had is, what do I hide from the world? There's a lot of power in those muted characteristics that you have. You know, mine, I told you, I'm hyper emotional, but that also makes me who I am. That also makes me a very dynamic leader because I am relatable. My power statement. So this should be the second to the last thing that you answer. The life's work first, you're going to answer those. What am I naturally drawn to? For me, it is, I love inspiring people. I want to be helpful. Are you drawn to science? Are you drawn to being with people? Are you drawn to Excel spreadsheets? Anything's okay. What meshes with my nature? So what environment really calls to you? Is it being in a hyper stressed or a high energy lifestyle? Is it more laid back? Do you want to help people? Is it more of like a civil servant? I don't know. You can answer that. What would you do if you weren't held back? For me, that was starting my own business. To me, that was so scary. Why would I do that when I could have an IT team, a legal team, a whole team under me instead of being my CEO, or COO, and CMO all at the same time? Like, what would you do if you were not held back? So next slide, please, Melissa. My ideal life. This is another huge one. Yeah, we all want to get the big paychecks. We all love a title. I get that. But when you have it, sometimes the grass is not greener on the other side. All I really wanted when I was sitting in that position was, gosh, I wish I could spend more time with my husband and with my dog and with my family and with my friends. And I just want to travel. So for me to make a quick pivot, I had to redefine what success was to me. And my ideal was having a serious work-life balance with enough financial security to be able to do those things, but also with the time. So define your ideal life. Is it working for yourself? Is it working for another? Is it to run a mega corporation, or is it just to do what really makes you happy and to get by? It's all okay. So then you get into the nitty-gritty of, all right, if I want to get there, who's going to help me? What changes do I need to realize in my life? And why am I doing this? Is it because you're doing it because you want to live that ideal life? Or is it because for the next 5 years, it's going to build me up to the point in time where I need to be? And then your definition of success. What does success look like? So, like I just said, success is not always defined by dollar signs in the bank account. Like that's not always success. To you, it may be, and that's cool. That's okay. You want to live on the biggest house on the block? Cool. Or you want to get 8 hours of sleep a night and actually be healthy, and define those 3 things, what success looks like, and write that statement. I want to be X years old, sitting and snuggling with my dog and my husband, watching a Netflix special at 7 p.m. and going to bed by 8. That's success. Cool. And then key moments I want to experience. So this is more business related. I'll give you an example just to put this into words, but like a key moment, like I want to receive a contract where it shows my name, this amount of salary, and this is what position I'm going to be. Or key moments I want to experience is signing my own business, is filing for that, doing something like that, or getting my first client. I want that moment. So those will help you to define exactly where you want to go in life. So with all of those different answers, you can add your power statement, which is a mashup of all those answers, what you hide, how people perceive you, what your superpower is, and what you are going to do in life. And then your I am statement can be one word. So for example, mine on my blueprint is I am a force. So once you fill that all out and once you do it, you can come back to it, you can think on it. Once you review it, it's incredible to see exactly what you think you want is not necessarily what you really want. And this will help you really define your path. And I feel like right now in our lifetime, this is the most important gift we've been given. We're all on shutdown. We're all, you may have been furloughed. You may have lost your job. You may have had to be supported by family. We are being gifted the opportunity to slow down and reassess. So why not do it for you? Okay, next slide, please. Any questions on this? Because this is the meat of the whole presentation. Okay, I'll move on and then you guys can think about it and maybe ask me afterwards. So then, sorry for the guys out there. As we know, I'm kind of a feminist, but the Straighten Your Crown, I wrote something on the blog that is called I Can Straighten My Own Crown, from a lyric from Megan Thee Stallion. Very official. But applying the principle, really, this boils down to knowing who the fuck you are. Like, I am powerful. I am a force. I am fierce. I got this. No matter what you have gone through in your life, you have you. And you are your biggest ally and your biggest support system. So this is when the glow up really happens, is when you're like, oh, I've done that. I totally trust myself. I got this. So it's the fun part. And it is the part that probably takes the most work. But really for me, the best way to describe it is look at hard situations that you've been through and you're still standing, you're still here, and how you got through that with grace. And it's still you. So you got this. Like that is power. All right, next slide, please. So claiming your power, in order to find your North Star, you have to be decided. Remember that law of aimlessness that we talked about. You have to put it out there with a powerful statement. So today, this is your challenge. You guys are all going to take this personal blueprint and you're going to think about it. And I guarantee you that even if you just shut it away in your email, it is going to haunt you. You are going to think about this and you're going to obsess about it, which is so good. And I want you to put it down into paper. I want you to put an action statement together. I want you to put a blueprint together, and I want you to talk about it. So your challenge is to fill out your own mindful blueprint, which we'll send out afterwards. And then I want you to really own it. I want you to understand it. And then I want you to talk to someone about it, whether that's a mentor, whether that's a stranger, whether that's your mom, your dad, your significant other. I want you to put it out into the universe. So I think the next section, go ahead and scroll down, is the Ask Me, You, Anything. So ask me anything. You guys can, whatever you want to know, I am here to answer it. The only rule is that if you're asking me this question, you better be prepared to answer the same question if I want to know. Anyone out there want to ask a question?
I'll ask you a question.
Hey, Ben.
Hi, how are you?
Did you get lots of notes?
I tried to. I have very
I
bad
love it. I saw you
Right.
scribbling away. I'm proud.
When I reread my handwriting, it's tough for me to see what I wrote. It's very bad.
What you got?
So listening to your life story, very inspiring. One kind of saying that I've always gone by with my life is that there's not a lot of growth in comfort zones. And it's always good to kind of push yourself out of your comfort zone. My question to you is, whenever you made that step to leave your corporate, per se, job that you were saying, was that a big jump out of a comfort zone? And if so, what was I know you mentioned it a little bit, but what was the kind of the biggest obstacles you had to overcome leaving a sure job to the unknown?
Good question. With my situation, it wasn't on a whim, like, hey, I'm just going to do this. It was something that continually came up in my mindset for about 6 months. And I had to measure the fact that my job was affecting my relationships, my marriage, my own physical, personal health, and that I couldn't any longer stand morally by the brand that was being presented. So I thought through it a lot and basically mapped out all paths to what I wanted the outcome to be. I'll be very, very honest. I had a pretty favorable contract where I knew I would be okay. I would be compensated even if I quit at some point in time. So financially, which was the biggest, like, top of mind hurdle, wasn't a factor. It was the biggest factor was ego, honestly, saying, well, I'm no longer a vice president of a large brand, or I'm no longer this. And that was a struggle deep within myself that I had to overcome. And I had to garner the support from others around me to be able to get over that. And once I did it, it didn't affect any of those things. Like, I was still me. I still had the relationships that I had built. So it was a very, bottom line, it was a studied move, but I knew it was at a moment that I discovered that I had the slightest opportunity to make it the most favorable for myself. And starting my own business, I had somebody who was very interested in using me as a consultant. And so I was kind of forced to rapid fire this, like, to accelerate it. And I'm so glad that I did, because it opened up so many more opportunities to a lot of other things that I'm doing. So I don't know. I would say, deep down when you've had enough, deep down when it doesn't mesh with you. Try to make it as favorable as possible for your outcome, but sometimes you just gotta act on a moment's whim and have a shitload of faith.
That's really awesome. Thank you for answering.
Of course. So Ben, let me ask you a question then. What are you doing right now in your career?
And now I am a food server at the South Point Casino.
Okay. I love Ryan. He is one of the best people out there. He's awesome. Yeah, you're working for a good guy. So what do you aspire to do? Like, where's your future? What are you thinking about?
My passion has, other than like people, like, I feel like I'm drawn to people. My energy comes from people. I like being around people. I love giving good service. But my passion has always been towards the sports side. my dream has always been to find a job where I can show my skills in service, in, you know, connecting with people, as well as being around sports. Because I feel like once those two mesh, like a small sample size, like anytime I get a table that's talking sports with me, I just feel like I'm at home. Like we'll sit there and talk, you know. But that my goal has always been to try and find a hospitality like position within a sports organization.
Well, first, I would love to introduce you to my husband, who is on the sports side. He works for UFC and PBR. I think he would be very valuable for you to talk to. So we'll aside that. But so what's holding you back from getting there? Is it timing? Is it?
I would say it's timing, but I think that's like with everything going on in this year, feel like that's an excuse anybody can say. I graduated last May, and I was, you know, optimistic, aspiring to get out there, you know, Golden Knights, Raiders, Las Vegas Aces, UFC's here. So I was, you know, really encouraged to get out there. Obviously this year's kind of been very bumpy, you know, so just kind of been doing my best to stay on my feet, and also like keep my head up, because it's pretty discouraging when you're looking around and, you know, stuff is shutting down, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I would say a little bit of timing, and I don't know, I try and get out there and I try and talk to as many people as I can, just for advice, just for like, you know, after college, because I'm kind of in this spot to where like I've been serving for a while, you know, I don't like when work starts to become a little bit of obligation. Like I love what I do, and I love to give good service, and I have a passion for that. But anytime I come to work and I feel like I have to talk myself into why I'm here, like talk myself up, you know, I don't think that's an everyday life thing, but I'd love to be somewhere where I'd you know, like what you mentioned before, it's not necessarily about the pay. If I love what I do, if I love like waking up or I get to go to work, I'd like that feeling, you know. So that's kind of what I'm chasing.
Keep nurturing the relationships, because honestly, that's like all that is. This city is full of them. You never know when your network will flourish for you. Surround yourself with the right people. It'll happen. Keep being tenacious, keep delivering good, and you'll be good. But let's offline, because I can definitely help you in that direction.
Thank you. That'd be awesome. I appreciate it. And I will say ECF is always there for me. So they've been wonderful.
So my personal story on ECF, Andrea was who is one of my closest friends, and also a key integral part of the Noble Fempire. She was on ECF, and my coworker at the time had her as a mentee. And so she was introduced to me, and I thought she was great, and she wanted to get into digital marketing and social media. So she ended up coming and being my mentee, and we ended up hiring her at Stations Corporate, and she did all of that. And then I yanked her over to Palms, and she's incredible at what she does. But like that relationship paid off in spades for her and for myself. And, you know, so I trust in the whole networking process of this, and know that you're in good hands. So that's my plug for ECF.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Of course.
Yep, ECF's awesome. Been there for me since day one.
Who else out there has something for me?
I have a question.
Who's talking? I can't see on my grid.
Oh, it's Jaslyn.
Hi.
Hi. I really liked your presentation. One thing I wanted to comment on was the mood board, because I really like that.
Yep.
What are other techniques for manifestation would you recommend, or do you have anything you do?
Oh, do you have like 2 hours? I can guide you through. I'm super hippy dippy, so bear with me. I really just like to, what's your favorite form of artistic or creative expression?
For me, it's more like I do like collages, but I like um anything with paper, so like scrapbooking, stuff like that.
Okay. So I would say do it once a month, right? So take a bunch of magazines and in the beginning of the month, set your intention of this month, I want to learn yoga, or this month, I want to learn this or do this. And whatever speaks to you going through the magazine, cut it out and then creatively plop it all together. And I think something would reveal itself to you. And every day, every morning, look at that and see what speaks to you and chase that dream.
Okay. Do you keep a journal, like you write any of your goals, and then, because I know this one manifestation technique, you like write your goals like a lot and like repetitively.
I actually, so I'm a big Gabby Bernstein fan. If you're into that, read her book. Start with Universe Has Your Back, and then Super Attractor. But I am very deep into prayer as a manifestation technique, and not a religious prayer, but just, thank you for abundance, thank you for enough, thank you, almost like a gratitude thing, where you just speak it out loud, or you go on a walk and you recognize things that you're grateful for, because I feel like plenty basically opens the door for more.
Okay. What was the book or the person again?
Gabby Bernstein. It's in my book thing, which you'll see in a couple of slides. But she is really into it's manifesting abundance. She has a pretty cool story, and she talks about her techniques for doing that.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody?
I have a question. Hi, how are you today?
Hi, Anna.
Just I can connect with you on the level where you said that you were quitting your previous job, and it wasn't an easy decision, and having that conversation with your boss at that time. I'm in a similar position where I'm not happy, and I'm going to be switching my subject. I went for my graduate studies to study something different. However, my current job is not making me happy. I'm in the same position. I'm a prisoner of my position. When you had that conversation with your bosses, is it acceptable to say, I'm doing this for me? And you've mentioned that you're an emotional person. I'm just like you. And you've mentioned that you take it as sometimes a vulnerability. Is it okay to be vulnerable and having those conversations with your bosses and letting them know, hey, I'm doing this for me?
I would say yes, but you also have to read the room, right? So do you have a good relationship with your boss? Like that's what helped me, is that I had a really good relationship, to where there was so much respect for one another, that my boss didn't want to let me down, as well as I didn't want to let him down, so that helped. But I would be raw. I would just say, hey, I'm not happy, and here's where my aspirations are, and this is not going to get me there in this current mind frame. It's nothing that you guys did. If there was, maybe give him feedback, but I want to be happy, and I don't think that I'm giving you 100% of who I am. So please understand, I would like to be let out of my contract, or whatever the situation is. Be honest, and don't be hostile about it. Just be like, hey, this is not on my journey, and I don't want to disappoint you as much as I don't want to disappoint myself. So this is the move that I want to make. Please support me in this journey. And if you have that respect and that open and honest conversation, it 90% will be likely that they'll understand.
Got it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
Thanks.
Anybody?
Hi, Lauren. I'm
Hi,
Valerie.
Valerie.
I just want to start by saying thank you for giving us like a very good explanation of like, or just like a mindset, open mindset of who we want to be in like in the future, in 5 years or so. But I would want to ask you, what did you do to change your careers? Like, did you have to go back to school for it, or how would
No, I would say that I have been very, very blessed in my educational path. Like my parents have given me nothing but the best, which I'm extremely grateful for. And being in the hospitality industry, you are forced to learn so many different things. I was also curious. And I think that that's key to anybody who's growing through their career path. Be curious. Don't just settle for, if you're a marketing coordinator, go ask about food and beverage or go learn about a different topic, because the more information you arm yourself with, the more of a Swiss Army knife in your career you can be. No, I never had to change like educational path or anything. I realized when I had opportunities, and I realized how to make the most of each opportunity, and relationships. I cannot stress the importance of relationships in this whole talk. Like truly, they are your lifeline always, because you never know when you're going to have to call on someone, or have them help you out. So nurture all those relationships. Do not burn a bridge ever.
Okay, thank you.
Unless they're a really crappy person, then I guess go ahead. But you just never know when you're going to have to call a lifeline.
Because right now I'm very intrigued in like the beverage side of hospitality, but we only live one life, and I feel like I would love to also also explore other sides of hospitality, like the food side or maybe the event and planning side as well. But it's just there's so many different paths, and I don't know if like changing a degree is a way to go, or
It won't help. Sorry, that won't help. Real life experience, connections, relationships, experiences, those will help advance you. So what are you currently doing?
Currently I'm just learning the fundamentals of hospitality, but I would like to go to the beverage side and mostly do wines.
So why not try to get an internship, or try to use your connections at like Southern Wine and Spirits or any of those beverage companies, and say, I'll do that, and learn and understand, make those relationships and understand if that's something you want to do. You are in a good spot to where you can change a lot. So study it, figure it out. Don't commit yourself to one angle.
Currently, I'm just reading a book a book full of wine theories, because at the moment I'm not at the age of being able to step into like a winery. I'm
got it. Okay.
I'm 18 yet, yeah. But that's the plan. I hope to, once I'm at the age, I plan to get to know more of the wineries here in Las Vegas first, start locally, and then move on from there.
Go on LinkedIn, or even if you have connections, like maybe make a friend with a sommelier and talk to them and interview them. What do you like about your job? How'd you get into this? Like truly, by just being curious and trying to make those connections, I think that you'll learn a lot, and a lot will be unveiled to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
That's what we can help you with too, Valerie. I mean, just to kind of piggyback off of everything that Lauren is saying, everything she's saying is the fundamentals of our mentoring program. We want you to try that's why we switch up your mentors. And even though you might want beverage, we're going to put you with a hotel person because I want you to try everything. And I say to you guys all the time, your network is the most important thing. I know that you've spent your whole life thinking that it was education, and education is one of those pillars, but it's not the most important thing in getting your job. It's not even what you know, it's who you know. And even more importantly, it's who knows you, especially in Las Vegas. So that's why we spend so much time helping you gather your network. But at the same time, the people on this call are equally as important, because as you're going up the chain, so are they. And these are going to be your relationships. So cultivate the relationships with your fellow students and cultivate the relationships with the alumni and the associate board. It's super important. And we brought some Southern Glaciers Wine and Spirits people on, some Southern people who are in events. So, you've virtually met Shanna, you've virtually met Sandra. Reach out, talk with them. That's what we want to help you do.
Thank you.
Of course. Is there anyone else out there who has a question?
Lauren, I have a question.
Yes.
So I know you keep touching on how spiritual you are. We all get in ruts, especially right now with such crazy times and all the uncertainty. How do you navigate a tough time? Who do you turn to? How do you bounce back?
Good question. Gosh, I'm an eternal optimist, so my tough times are not really tough. I guess it's just a mindset. Move your body. Like physical exercise or just getting a good sweat, like that is so important. I'm obsessed with my Peloton. I freaking love it. But even going for a walk, like I can't tell you, during deep shutdown, as I call it, I went every day at 2:00 and I listened to a Brene Brown podcast and I walked a couple miles just to like get out of the environment and get out of my own head. So move your body. Friends are the best. Like, they're the coolest. They make you feel great. You can be like, hey, I'm having a rough time. Scoop me up, make me feel good. Let's laugh. What else? I like find a creative outlet. For me, it's writing or cooking. Like, I love to cook. So sometimes just the rudimentary chopping of vegetables like made me feel way better. And knowing that you're going to be okay. Like, that's the biggest one of, all right, well, I have plenty. I have enough toilet paper. I have enough food. I have people. I'm going to be okay. Like, I think that will pull you out of a bad mood. And yeah, having wine. I love wine. So Amy, you know that.
I do.
Yeah.
But you guys aren't old enough to drink yet, so.
Oh, sorry. Don't drink wine.
I mean, it's okay. They know that.
Yeah.
But everything else is a really good, great suggestions. Yeah, I second that. I think just talking, right? So you have your friends and your family and being able to just say it out loud, get it off your chest. But I think the making time for the physical activity is really important. Yeah. And I hope that everybody takes that bit from today, because you have to put yourself first. And we easily get in our own heads. So taking Lauren's advice and getting out there and making time for yourself, getting fresh air, just running around and moving, it's really important. So those are great suggestions.
And being grateful, for sure.
Lauren, I have another question.
Yes, Valerie.
What's your preference in wine, and what do you feel like when you drink wine? Like, what's your feeling?
Happy, but I really like my new like trend has been, I'm really into the chilled organic red wine. Like, I love it. So like a really great Beaujolais that is organic and like perfectly chilled, so into it, like here for it, excited about it. Yeah. And yes, I just feel happy. Like for me, my parents we always had home cooked meal. Like when I would come home from school just growing up. So mealtime was a time to communicate and do all that. And now as an adult, mealtime includes a glass of wine. And so I feel like it just opens the path for a conversation too. So meals and a glass of wine, you can break down barriers.
Thank you. Do you have a specific year? Do you like
Oh,
old
geez.
wines or? Sorry, I just like asking questions and getting to know like what's the trend right now. What are people liking?
Yeah, I really like the 2013 wines are like my favorite, and they're pretty hard to come by, especially because that was a fire year, especially from where I'm looking from. But just like on a normal day, I would go broke if I drank expensive wine every single day. So I would say like I love a good Beaujolais. Like there's a couple at Total Wine that are under like $25, and that's perfect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else? Cool. So on the other two slides, we have suggested reading list, and this kind of balances the boss babe side of me and the authentic leadership and spiritual side of me, which may help you. I think that your first purchase, your first book should be the 48 Laws of Power. I feel like it should be required reading for everyone. It is savage, it is crazy, but it teaches you a lot of how to manage people and situations. So can't recommend that more. And then some of the others are a little bit more spiritual. For women, I think Untamed is a really good one, especially just given kind of the circumstances that we're in now and just the climate and the environment. I think it's really good to just unlocking who you are and really living your truth. And then the next slide is how you guys can get in contact with me. Oh, sorry. These are some of the blog articles that I referenced in this presentation from my blog. If you have a minute, like go down the rabbit hole and read. They're pretty quick reads, but I talk a lot about being an empathetic leader and being open and just letting go. I also talk about like some of the rituals that I do around full moons and fun stuff like that too. So check that out. And we're also on Instagram. And then the next slide is how you can get in touch with me. So request to be my friend on LinkedIn, follow the Noble Fempire. You can send me an email. I'm happy to help you and guide you through your careers and through your whatever you're going through. And if you have questions, feel free to reach out. I'm here for you. Yeah, that's it. Follow the blog.
So we've been talking about doing a sort of a book club. I think I could always afford to read a little bit more other than, Dr. Seuss. And I think what you were saying with the 48 Laws of Power would be a good one to start, it sounds like.
Yeah, I would recommend. It's almost like a reference book. It's thick and it is heavy. So I think it's more of a reference one of just pick a law, maybe a law a week, and study it and recognize it. But I also listen to podcasts a lot. Like Brene Brown is a queen to me. So for you, it's not a male-female thing, but it's more about just being raw and authentic and empathetic. She's really great. She talks about leaderships. I think Daring Greatly was on one of my reading things, but please listen to her too.
If you had, all right, Brene Brown for a podcast, and if you had to pick one book for us to read as part of our sort of our book club, what would you, our ECF book club, obviously not my, romantic book reading.
I would say Daring Greatly.
I'm looking for him. Is that the Darren
It's
Gray?
Brene Brown.
Brene Brown.
Yeah. Yeah. Or she just came out with a new leadership book too that is great about, and I forget what it is, but I would start with her.
Okay. So maybe what we'll do is we'll get some of these books, and anybody who wants to be a part of it, we can get you all the book, and then maybe do some follow-up coffee and read, listen to the podcast, and we'll do a little follow-up.
Yes. And I will send Melissa the template for your personal blueprint. And I really, really, really challenge you to do that, and to put some thought into it and put some raw, real emotion behind it and speak it true. So, and if you have any questions on that too, like, hey, I need some guidance, feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. But you guys deserve the best.
Thank you. I am going to stop sharing my screen, and with the slide, so I can get a photo of everyone. Can anyone who's on the call that is able to put your cameras on? I'll give everyone a moment because there's a lot of people have their cameras off. Hi. Hello, everyone. And I love how I say I'm going to take a photo. I actually have no idea how to take a photo. So I say that every time. Is there someone who maybe is on like an iPad or something who can screenshot? If you can.
I can try to screenshot. I just don't know if I'm going to capture everyone. I only see like 5 people at a time.
Maybe one of your fabulous millennials can actually help us out because I'm so not good at this. All right, so anyone have their coffee? You can take your coffee. I think I actually did it.
Yay!
We'll see. Yes, we did. Okay. Well,
thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to speak with you guys today. I hope this was useful for you. I hope you feel good, and I hope you guys kick ass in this life.
They will.
Thank you so much, Lauren. This was absolutely incredible. I've got to say, you guys, we always talk about do your homework, do your homework, do your homework when it comes to networking and really anything in life. This was the first coffee and conversation that we've had where anybody did a presentation. And this wasn't just a presentation. This was like above and beyond. So I think Lauren is a perfect example of what putting the effort in looks like, and the preparation. It shows. So just thank you. This was incredible. Thank you, Lauren.
And I think it's something you can learn from whether you're a freshman in college to even, Amy, myself, those of you who have graduated. I mean, I've taken nothing but notes on things that I want to work on. And I think I'm very guilty of staying stagnant. And I love to see that you're always thinking about how to advance and how to really work on yourself. And I think we can all learn from that, and how to be your authentic self, I think is so super important. Yeah. I love it. I love everything you had to say, and I think we can all learn from that no matter what stage we're in. So thank you. I really took a lot out of this.
Yeah, I'm so glad. I was so excited, so excited.
And one more takeaway. I forgot if it was Valerie or Jocelyn, but I've had a handful of conversations with you guys. And I think we touched on doing mood boards and having just a time to have that creative outlet. So we can all do them obviously at home, and then we can do just a coffee and a kind of share and tell of our personal mood boards. If that's something you guys are interested in, let us know. You can shoot us an email. And I think that would be a really great assignment. So,
I've never done a mood board, and I feel,
oh my God, they're so fun.
I know. I feel like I can learn a lot from how to do them and how to really inspire myself, because I think what you've said is that, by looking at being an internal optimist and looking at this this time, this last since March, of taking our time to stop and having time to reflect has been really important on me. And I think we can all, take that and continue it and say, all right, we need to do this more often. Slow down, look at yourself, look at where you want to go.
Yeah.
So New Year's is like the perfect time to re-envision it. And in normal life, I would get a bunch of girlfriends together and then do like a whole vision boarding party.
Oh.
But, maybe that's something you guys do virtually. But
Well, that's awesome.
I'd attend the vision boarding session if you do it.
Let's do it.
I'm on it. I won't be leading it. That's up to whoever can do a vision board. I'm not that creative in the first place, but I'm interested and excited. That sounds awesome.
Well, happy Friday, everyone.
Valerie just raised her hand. What's up, Val?
Oh, do you recommend doing it online? I don't really have magazines to be able to make vision boards, but
I've never done it online. It's up to you. Like, if you find something that speaks to you and you can do it creatively that way, go for it. There's no right or wrong way.
Yeah, I feel like that would be a great idea to make it online and then do a share screen, and we can every single person can explain their vision board.
Yeah.
That's a really good idea, Valerie. So in maybe a PowerPoint format, and then as you want to add to it, right, you can add it digitally. So that's pretty easy to update. So if that's an option for everybody out there, that might be a really good, a good way to go about it. Good suggestion, Valerie.
Thank you all for joining us. Thank you so
Thank you
much
again, Lauren. Thanks, guys.
This was fantastic.
Best of luck, you guys, and happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. It's going to be beautiful. Take walks, get outside, move your bodies.
That's a great idea. I need to do that. Thank you.
Thank you for your
Bye.
time.
Bye. Thank you.